Like, that is so rare. The Adam's apple. And then when you say the Adam's apple, you put a trio of +2s in the front. So you get this fantastic string of +1s in the front. Like Adam, the first man, is father, +1, because it's 4 +1s. And then this here adds 52 to the party. So if you just wanted to find father in this set of letters, I just did it. 52 plus that 6. Okay. The Adam's apple. That's glaring for father. Alright, so we solve voicing and all this stuff. Maybe we'll finish with this little diagram. We solve nasal cavity. We solve the pharynx and the larynx. So pharynx is on top. So nasal cavity, we solve the vestibule. Vestibule +1, naval cavity +1. And even nasal cavity had that centrality. Back to our centrality party here. The nasal cavity. Correct me if I'm wrong, we had some feast going on here in these 6 letters. Yeah, that equaled father. So let's get that on the party table. There. That'll just round out this party even better. So there's father perfectly, like binding together the word nasal with cavity, just like we saw in this cluster bomb. So there you go. There's father, like at the dead center of all this. And then, best of all, this also makes a multiple of 3, just like Team Blue and all the above terminology. So there, we just added another great friend to the party, and he needed to be there. Because now that equals 160, that equals father plus 102. The puzzle is being pieced together. There you go. So we solved the vocal cords, the vocal folds, the vocal cords, the vocal tract, the nasal cavity in the name of the Father, and it was absolutely flawless. So by way of review, that equals father at center. We reviewed that earlier. This was father -3. So cool. So father at the dead center, father -3, and then -3 from that, and then -3 from that for the Trinity. Wow! Don't you love diagrams? They just centralize your life. And I'm a visual person as well. And I believe I've studied the word diagram before. You can poke around, like the center. It'll all knit together with all this. The most obvious thing I noticed with the word diagram is that it's composed of pure +1s, just like father's +1. You got the rest of the letters divided by 3. You can go on a tear, like figuring out all sorts of cool things, how it knits together. Okay, so why don't we just be thorough here? Respiratory tract. What happens here? That's +1 as well. And I was hoping it would be. I was, secretly hoping it would be, and it was. So look at, so all these are +1. Even the word upper is +1, just like the word lower. But respiratory tract, I mean, that's a bigger term because it summarizes a lot more. Now you can try binding these together, and again, you get a +1 in the binding of these two words together. And I'm just going with what we have above. And then all this here makes a giant, together with Team Blue over there, makes a fat cluster bomb of 3s. And I'm curious what it adds to, some screamingly high number. Oh, it equals Holy Ghost, no less. Okay, so you got a nice Holy Ghost gem in there. And that's when you add the in front. Now you have the Holy Ghost plus Father binding these two things together in the respiratory tract. And last time I checked, the Holy Ghost speaks through Christians, and it's also the Spirit of the Father. Okay, so there we go. We have the respiratory tract is in the house, namely the Holy Ghost plus Father binding this whole thing together. So that's plus 39 from Father. I'll bet you can even pop that off with a little homework. Yeah, there it is. Father is right there. Oh yeah, Father was the famous Roy, R-O-Y. Well, that did not disappoint. So here's another perfect example. It just handed itself to us. And now you're looking at Cal as in California, +1, there you go. Track, Art, 39. Well, there's Father, and then the 39, I would say, enough said, there's the 39 bonus right there, the word Art. You can also get it in a hopscotch effect, like O-Y-R, hopping down to get Father, and leaving behind the word Art. Okay, so there's the flawless Father binding together respiratory tract, just like we saw in all this terminology. So let's just jump this. This is a really high number now. So the respiratory tract equals 259 equals Father plus, I'm getting so tired. So now that's 159 plus 42. Oh, the great 201. Well, same digits as above here. One of my favorite numbers of world history, in fact, the great 201. Full birth name of Neil Armstrong and Walt Disney and all the rest of them. But let's see, 259, the respiratory tract is in the house. 159, yep, just checking my numbers. That is a king 3, that number there, but it's all for the Father. Okay, so the respiratory tract. And then now as you have a new set of letters and you go to the center of these and like poke around for Father, there I already saw some stunning. But okay, respiratory, Father. Okay. Nasal cavity, we solved the larynx, we saw the pharynx, Father was at the dead center, both of those. We solved the nasal cavity, trachea, the primary bronchi. The lungs, we solved +1. Trachea parallel Christ, and Father's on top of Christ, you know. And then bronchi comes third. Bronchi divides by 3. But primary bronchi will have a +1. Just a quick more. Yeah, trachea is flawless for Christ, where +2s exceeds +1s by 1. And a lot of shared letters, like CHRT. Very obvious how trachea is Christ, okay? Very, very screaming it out. Just bang, bang, just handing itself to us. And then, oh yeah, this is the 28, and this offsets that by exactly 21 points, trachea. And then the primary bronchi. Well, it's all very fabulous and very divine. There's another Father offset there. I always like poking around in the center because you know what we've seen up until now. Pop off. Yeah. There's the Roy again. Roy just keeps cropping up for Father. Okay. Okay. Done. We hit the big ones. Larynx was huge. Pharynx also huge. Father. Nasal cavity we solved. All right. That was huge. Makes you want to. Oh, wow! See, a little patience always yields more glory. Father's at the dead center of your bronchi, which is, of course, the primary branches into your lungs. So there's Father. I mean, folks, can you imagine what this is going to do for human care and love if people get taught this? Okay, so, well, we're teaching it now. No time like the now. By the way, now and present are both +1 for Father. Live in the now. So Father is at the dead center of your bronchi. And then, from what I understand, you also have the bronchioles and the bronchioli, or something like that. So you have the bronchi, and then they go into the bronchioles. I need data. I need more words. Bronchi, Wikipedia, talk to me. Not broncos. I need the bronchi. Not Ford Bronco. I need the bronchioles. Bronchioles. Just bronchioles. Bronchial. There we go. Aha. And then the bronchioli. The bronchioles, or bronchioli, are the passageways by which air passes through the nose or mouth to the alveoli. And alveoli is also +1 for Father. The air sacs, and of course air sacs is also +1 for Father. Of the lungs, which is +1 for Father. Oh, this is good. And which branches no longer contain, and by the way, the word branches is +1 for Father, just like branch. No longer contain cartilage, we've solved, and glands, and their submucosa. They are the branches of the bronchi and are part of the conducting zone of the respiratory system. And we solved respiratory system, just like respiratory tract, is +1 for Father. And of course, it all based on the word respiratory, which ends in Father. Father gets the last word on all this fine and dandy stuff he created. He created it. Of course, he needs to get the last word on it. Of course, he's sovereign over this whole thing. Respiratory, the lavatory, the laboratory, the science laboratory, we say. That's where things are discovered, in the science laboratory. Well, who gets the last word? Well, clearly Father does, because that equals Roy, Father. The respiratory tract, the respiratory system, and then the tract and system, as we preach, both parallel Christ, and so they hook up with Father to make, overall it yields +1. Okay, so the respiratory system now goes really high. So now we're in a really high level where the respiratory system now is like Father plus, what is that? Wow, it's Father plus 240 perfectly. Like, that's another king number of 3. So the respiratory system has now been solved in the name of the Father. I insist on taking you into capitals as it should be. That's how you count strokes properly. The respiratory system has been solved for the Father. The respiratory system equals Father plus 240. That's a very kingly offset there. Okay, so we're going higher and higher and higher here. Okay. And as you poke around the word respiratory and just go on a heyday. See, look, at the center of the word respiratory yields a +1 offset. Okay. And so that's already handing the Father to me. Okay. Bronchioles. Oh my gosh. Look at all these words that are +1. Passageways, air sacs, branches. So diagram, please. So the alveoli. There's love sitting right there. Love plus 28. 28 is the dead center Father. That is screaming. Alveolar sacs. The pulmonary artery. The bronchi. Oh, man. Wow. So the alveoli is the end of the line. Alveoli is Father plus, oh my gosh, Father plus 18. There's love sitting in it. That's just silly. 28, yeah. Oh my gosh, look at how alveoli just hands it to you. Look at this. A couple ways you can do this. The bookends equals the dead center of Father. Okay, there's a lot of ways you can look at this. Like the AE is the most, oh my gosh, there's so much. The alveoli are the end of the line. Remember, Father gets the last word. Well, what's the end of the line for oxygen in your lungs? Well, apparently the alveoli. This is how you breathe, man. Like, this is how I'm staying alive, thanks to my alveoli. Well, who owns it? Father owns it. Father created it. So the TH equals the bookends I've seen there. And then that's the word love, letter for letter. And what's cool about the word love is, of course, it divides by 6, just like the flanking letters in Father. And so that's what excited me there. I wanted to mention that beauty there. But let's not forget the obvious here. That's so beautiful as it is, but watch this. The AE is irresistible, and that's why you know the AE are the most common letters in the English language. Well, look, they're sitting right there. I mean, and then this is so beautiful because this is, oh my gosh, the alveoli are clearly handing it to us. The TH is parallels the V, differing by 6, and everything else is 6s, just flawless 6s. Like an L is double 6, an F is 6, R is triple 6, an IO is quadruple 6, and an L is another double 6. Double 6, double 6 equals the quadruple 6 in Father in a nice symmetrical position, and then an IO adds another quadruple 6. The V differed from the TH by 6, and then the AE equals 6. So that the Trinity is perfectly glorified, while Father is pointed to, in maximum efficiency, everything in the word alveoli. Oh yeah, that felt good. So here's a very official Einsteinian equation that anyone can do. Done. And like I said, it wasn't difficult to pop off that 18 points. And the word ale is, in fact, as far as I can tell, that is the only way you can do it. But that was stunning. So Father clearly owns the alveoli, which is the end of the line for your lungs and your breathing. Oh, this is good. So then bronchioles. But remember, Father was sitting right there, right in the center, bronch. It parallels the word branch, and that's why they're called bronch, I believe, because they're branches. So the word branch is Father, just like the word bronch. Sorry, it's right, bronchiole. There, now you get your +1. Branch, bronchiole. Okay? So obvious. +2's in both words, branch, bronchiole. But it was when you found Father right there, verbatim, right on the end, bronch. And then this just kept the 3-fest going, the bronchioli. Okay. So there you go. Alveoli we solved. Air is at the dead center of Father, and then sacs divides by 6. So it's just mind-blowing. Yeah. Air sacs of the lungs, in which branches no longer tingle. And then the bronchi we solved. Okay, that was awesome. So we solved the respiratory system. Did a lot of work on the bronchioles, alveolar sacs. Oh, that was just awesome. The alveoli. Let's just... The alveoli are where the exchange happens, isn't it? Yeah, the alveoli. Even atrium is +1. Oh man, and then capillary is +1. That's the end of the line. And then capillary beds keeps going. Oh man. Oh, so The terminal ends of the respiratory tree. Also known as the leaves. So, so leaves is +1, just like alveoli. The leaves of a tree, the alveoli, and the lungs. And it's very obvious to me. This is going to blow your mind because both contain AE. I'm going to run on a memory chip, but don't go away. Leaves is father plus offsets of 6 is from father. Leaves is father plus 6. Alveoli is father plus 18. There you go. Good night. Just solve the leaves on the tree and the alveoli and the lungs to the glory of the Father, because Father gets the last word. He's the end of the line here. There you go. That's who we're going home to. Leaves, alveoli. Wow. And the AE in both words. And the V, like I said, parallels this design flawlessly, AVE, and then everything else is pure sixes, ES 24, L 24. Same thing in alveoli. Wow, 24, 24. There, you heard it here first, folks. All leaves and all alveoli have been solved to the glory of the Father on this fine 10:21 a.m. Even the time is +1.